Hello again. Now I would like to make a comment on the rubrics and on the heads-up checklist that I have added to the assessment section. The rubrics is let's say, a comprehensive, elaborate uh, assessment grid where I try to explain what you are expected to do in the different parameters that the book assessment card includes. So I did it in English. The explanation, I try to be illustrative with the explanation for you to understand what is expected from a student when they do the task. And concerning the heads-up checklist, the heads-up checklist is pretty much the same, but the only thing is that you have just ticks, you have bullet points, uh, and the explanation is much more concise for you to spot what you are expected to do, but very quickly without having to read the whole explanation. That's why I did it. So, okay, from the rubrics, what does adequacy mean? It means that you have to adapt your performance to the situation and to the person that you're addressing your speech. You have to be clear, and the tone and the register and the style have to be adequate for the situation and for the listener. At the same time, you have to do the task fully, develop the different points of the task in a proper way. Coherence and cohesion means that there is a smooth transition between the different paragraphs the different in writing it would be paragraphs, because in this case it's written production, but we have a rubric in every skill, written or oral. I have seen that I have already included the written production. I'm going to include them all. But anyway, in the issue here, you have them all. You can see that if you scroll down, you have all the rubrics there. For example, you have this is the heads up. Okay, here you have the oral mediation. Here you have the oral production, written mediation, written production, etc. Because it's usually for the production skills. But here I only included one. My mistake, my fault. So in general, coherence and cohesion implies that your transition between one point and the next is smooth. It has to sound or to read as if it were a whole or parts of a whole, not abrupt, brusque transitions. This is what it means. And that you can do that with intratextual relationships using words that make reference to something that you said before or that you will say later, with connectors, but the connectors have to be C1 connectors, not but, and, which are very simplistic. Then in oral expression, pronunciation, okay, intonation, the right intonation, especially fluency. And fluency does not mean that you have to speak fast. It means that you have to speak naturally, as if you would speak in your mother tongue, showing that you control what you are saying. As to lexical and grammatical repertoire, I mean the range, what the assessment says, the range, you have to avoid resorting to the same repetitive, oversimplistic vocabulary and grammar structures that probably a B1 or a B2 B2 not so much, but a B1 student would. You have to show that you have different synonyms for the same thing. You can use precise vocabulary. You can show subtle nuances in what you want to express. This is what it means. And accuracy means correction in what you are saying, using lexis and grammar in the right place at the right time in the right way. This is what it means. And avoiding, obviously, basic mistakes. So our objective, our aim is to express as much as we can with as little wording as we can. Spanish is expansive, English is compressive. So when we tell a student that adjectives come before the noun in a noun phrase, by the way, very important noun phrases, we are not only saying one type of word, part of speech, that and the relationship with another part of speech. We are going further than that. We are showing the student the trend that usually takes place in the English language. For example, something like bajar bajo that we say in Spanish would be unthinkable in English. That's a redundancy that they would never use. Or for example, one of the exercises I tell my students to do usually is, for example, the typical example I usually give them. Esta experiencia no la olvidaré nunca porque cambió mi vida. Okay, you have needed two sentences, the main sentence and a course clause to give me that information. So, and I usually tell my students, I would like you to say all that in a noun phrase. What does that mean? That if I have a sentence, a simple sentence, subject, verb, and complement, only the subject will express that which you have needed two sentences to express in Spanish. That's why I say that Spanish is expansive and English is compressive. So it's not just about learning vocabulary and grammar, it's about learning linguistic techniques. Because if you do not apply the proper linguistic technique, you are speaking Spanish with English words or English grammar items. But that's not the point. The point is adapting lexical strategies. So how can we express that in a noun phrase? This unforgettable, life-changing experience. Okay, so for that, the resources I used was a complex word, a root with prefix and suffix, the prefix adding meaning, and the suffix changing the part of speech. I changed it into an adjective. Life-changing. I changed a verb and an object into an adjective ending in ing, an active provoking adjective instead of an ed adjective, which is a passive adjective that implies that the noun is suffering something. So these strategies are applicable in this case and allow me to compress all that information in only one noun phrase. At a later stage, you will see lexical and grammar strategies to enhance your English. And I give you some examples of how you can do that. And we will be training. We will be training. So please take a look at the rubrics and at the heads up checkpoints checklists that I added. And I will be welcome if you have any sort of proposal. I will be welcome to receive it if it means improving on what I have offered and making it better and more understandable to you.